Joel chapter 1. The word of the Lord that came to Joel, the son of Pethuel. Listen to this, you elders, and pay attention, all you inhabitants of the land. Has anything like this happened in your days, or even in the days of your forefathers? Tell your children about it, and let your children tell their children, and the next generation after that. What the crawling locust left, the swarming locust has eaten. What the swarming locust left, the hopping locust has eaten. And what the hopping locust left, the destroying locust has eaten. Awake, you drunkards, and weep, wail, all you wine drinkers, because the new wine has been cut off from your mouth. For a nation has invaded my land, strong and without number. Its teeth are the teeth of a lion, and it has the fangs of a mighty lion. It has destroyed my grapevines and stripped the bark from my fig trees. It has stripped them bare and thrown them away. Their branches have turned white. Lament like a young woman dressed in sackcloth, mourning the loss of her husband. The grain offering and the drink offering are cut off from the house of the Lord. The priests, who minister before the Lord, mourn. The fields are in ruins, the ground mourns, for the grain is destroyed, the new wine is dried up, and the olive oil languishes. Be ashamed, you farmers, wail, you vine dressers, for the wheat and the barley, because the harvest of the field has perished. The grapevine is dried up, and the fig tree withers, the pomegranate tree, the palm tree, and the apple tree, indeed, all the trees of the field, have withered. Joy has withered away from the sons of men. Put on sackcloth and lament, you priests. Wail, you ministers of the altar. Come, spend the night in sackcloth, you ministers of my God, because the grain offering and the drink offering are withheld from the house of your God. Declare a holy fast, call a solemn assembly. Gather the elders and all the inhabitants of the land into the house of the Lord your God, and cry out to the Lord. Alas for the day! For the day of the Lord is near, and it will come as destruction from the Almighty. Is not the food cut off before our very eyes? Joy and gladness are taken from the house of our God. The seeds rot under the clods. The storehouses are desolate, the granaries are torn down because the grain has withered. How the animals groan! The herds of cattle wander about in confusion because they have no pasture, even the flocks of sheep suffer. O Lord, I will call to you, for the fire has consumed the pastures of the wilderness, and flames have scorched all the trees of the field. Even the beasts of the field cry out to you, for the water streams have dried up, and the fire has consumed the pastures of the wilderness. Joel chapter 2. Blow the trumpet in Zion, and sound the alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord is approaching, it is near. A day of darkness and gloom, a day of clouds and thick darkness, like the morning spread upon the mountains, a great and mighty people, such as has never been before, nor will ever be again after them, through the years of many generations. A fire devours before them, and behind them, a flame burns. The land before them is like the Garden of Eden, but after them, it is a desolate wilderness. Nothing escapes them. Their appearance is like horses, and like horsemen, they run. The noise they make is like the sound of chariots on mountaintops. They leap like the noise of a flame of fire that devours stubble, like a mighty people set for battle. Before them, people are in anguish, all faces turn pale. They run like mighty men, they climb the wall like warriors, they each march in formation, and they do not break ranks. They do not push one another, each one marches in his path. They burst through the defenses and do not break ranks. They rush into the city, they run upon the wall. They climb into the houses. They enter through the windows like thieves. The earth quakes before them, the heavens tremble. The sun and moon grow dark, and the stars withdraw their shining. The Lord utters his voice before his army, for his camp is exceedingly great, for mighty is the one who carries out his word. The day of the Lord is indeed great and very fearful. Who can endure it? Even now, declares the Lord, return to me with all your heart, with fasting, with weeping, and with mourning. Rend your hearts and not your garments. Return to the Lord your God, for he is gracious and merciful, slow to anger, and abounding in steadfast love, and he relents over disaster. Who knows whether he will turn and relent, and leave a blessing behind him, a grain offering and a drink offering for the Lord your God. Blow the trumpet in Zion, sanctify a fast, call a solemn assembly. Gather the people, sanctify the congregation, assemble the elders, gather the children and the nursing infants. Let the bridegroom come out of his room and the bride from her chamber. Let the priests, the ministers of the Lord, weep between the porch and the altar, and let them say, Spare your people, O Lord, and do not make your heritage a reproach, a byword among the nations. Why should they say among the peoples, Where is their God? Then the Lord will be jealous for his land, and will have compassion on his people. The Lord will answer and say to his people, Behold, I will send you grain, wine, and oil, and you will be satisfied in full, and I will never again make you a disgrace among the nations. But I will remove the northern army far from you, and I will drive it into a parched and desolate land, its vanguard into the eastern sea, and its rear guard into the western sea. Its stench will rise up, and its foul smell will go up, for it has done great things. Do not fear, O land. Be glad and rejoice, for the Lord has done great things. Do not fear, you beasts of the field, for the pastures of the wilderness have turned green, for the tree bears its fruit, the fig tree and the vine yield their full strength. So rejoice, you children of Zion, and be glad in the Lord your God, for he has given you the early rain for righteousness, and he will bring down showers for you, the early rain and the latter rain as before. The threshing floors will be full of grain, and the vats will overflow with new wine and oil. I will restore to you the years that the swarming locust has eaten, the hopper, the destroyer, and the cutter, my great army, which I sent among you. You shall eat in plenty and be satisfied, and praise the name of the Lord your God, who has dealt wondrously with you, and my people shall never again be put to shame. You shall know that I am in the midst of Israel, and that I am the Lord your God, and there is none else. And my people shall never again be put to shame. And it shall come to pass afterward, that I will pour out my Spirit upon all flesh. Your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, your old men shall dream dreams, your young men shall see visions. Even upon the male and female servants in those days I will pour out my Spirit. I will show wonders in the heavens and on the earth, blood and fire and columns of smoke. The sun shall be turned to darkness, and the moon to blood, before the great and awesome day of the Lord comes. And it shall come to pass that everyone who calls on the name of the Lord shall be saved. For in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem there shall be those who escape, as the Lord has said, and among the survivors shall be those whom the Lord calls. Joel chapter 3. For behold, in those days and at that time, when I restore the fortunes of Judah and Jerusalem, I will gather all the nations and bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat. I will enter into judgment with them there, on behalf of my people and my heritage, Israel, because they have scattered them among the nations and have divided up my land. They have cast lots for my people, and have traded boys for prostitutes, and have sold girls for wine, and have drunk it. What are you to me, O Tyre and Sidon, and all the regions of Philistia? Are you paying me back for something? If you are paying me back, I will turn your payment back on your own head swiftly and speedily. For you have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried my rich treasures into your temples. You have sold the people of Judah and Jerusalem to the Greeks, removing them far from their own border. But now I will rouse them to leave the places to which you have sold them, and I will turn your deeds back upon your own head. I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the people of Judah, and they will sell them to the Sabaeans, to a nation far away, for the Lord has spoken. Proclaim this among the nations. Consecrate for war, stir up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears, let the weak say, I am a warrior. Hasten and come, all you surrounding nations, and gather yourselves there. Bring down your warriors, O Lord. Let the nations stir themselves up and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there I will sit to judge all the surrounding nations. Put in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Go in, tread, for the winepress is full. The vats overflow, for their evil is great. Multitudes, multitudes, in the valley of decision! For the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. The sun and the moon are darkened, and the stars withdraw their shining. The Lord roars from Zion, and utters his voice from Jerusalem, and the heavens and the earth quake. But the Lord is a refuge to his people, a stronghold to the people of Israel. So you shall know that I am the Lord your God, who dwells in Zion, my holy mountain. And Jerusalem shall be holy, and strangers shall never again pass through it. And in that day the mountains shall drip sweet wine, and the hills shall flow with milk, all the streambeds of Judah shall flow with water, and a fountain shall come forth from the house of the Lord and water the valley of Shittim. Egypt shall become a desolation and Edom a desolate wilderness, for the violence done to the people of Judah, because they have shed innocent blood in their land. But Judah shall be inhabited forever, and Jerusalem to all generations. I will avenge their blood, blood I have not avenged, for the Lord dwells in Zion.